Alright, so. We investigated the dojo. The garden would have been over there, but you can't do anything there. Look who showed up.
What's going on?
This hallway is kind of creepy. I can't go places that I should be able to go. It's like some rules being enforced for no reason. It's like there's an invisible wall or something. Huh. This looks kind of weird. I was taken aback for a second. No, I can't go in here. This is where this was. Go back in here, I guess. The room changed, right? What's this? Another manga laying on top of the desk. Oh boy. What's this one gonna be? Manga for Morons, The Tragedy of Hope Speak Academy. Oh boy. Wasn't it mentioned in the other manga too? It's why Hope Speak Academy went bankrupt too. It was the trigger for the biggest, most tragic, most awful event in human history. If I read the manga, will I be able to learn a little more about that incident? I took the manga from the desk and started flipping through the pages to see what I could learn about the event known as the Tragedy of Hope Speak Academy. The story made heavy use of outdated, stylized drawings depicting characters solving mysteries. What's written here is, as the name suggests, the Tragedy of Hope Speak Academy occurred at Hope Speak Academy. The key player in that event was a student named Izuru Kamakura. Izuru was a genius known as a symbol of hope. Hope Speak Academy used all the resources to develop him. Supposedly, Izuru was a genius among geniuses and possessed various talents. Wielding superior talent for the hope of mankind, the Academy referred to Izuru as the ultimate hope. To prevent such rare talent, or protect such rare talent, excuse me, the Academy completely concealed all evidence of Izuru's origins and identity. Wow, excuse me. Because of that, most of the students at the Academy were completely unaware of Izuru's existence. But Izuru was known as the symbol of hope and was responsible for a horrible incident. 13 students of Hope Speak Academy Student Council, among the Academy's best and brightest, were brutally murdered by Izuru. However, the incident did not end there. The Academy tried to protect Izuru's superior talent and concealed the incident as though it never happened. However, a certain student began working in secret to use that incident to their advantage. That student uncovered what the Academy did, and by making that knowledge public, stoked the fires of Reserve Corps students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. And the uprising began. And that heralded Hope Speak Academy's destruction. This is the entirety of the tragedy of Hope Speak Academy. Well, eventually that incident would lead to that horrifying, devastating incident. The incident that would be known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. We're excited. Danganronpa 0. With a heavy sigh, I closed the manga. Am I supposed to believe this? There's no way 13 people were killed at Hope Speak Academy. What irony! For a genius known as the ultimate hope to cause such a gruesome incident, a talent like that is too regal for society. It's like trying to buy juice with a bar of gold. You should be lucky that you're incompetent. Damn it, he always has to lead up to something offensive. He seriously pisses me off. But, ultimate hope. Nagano mentioned that before, but it looks like it means something completely different here. What Nagano said was the true meaning of hope, but for Izuru, hope simply means talent. More importantly, a genius who possesses various talents. I wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. That's right, the reserve department. Here, instead of the reserve corps students in the reserve department began the uprising, then what about me? Was I a participant too? No, that's not possible. There's no way I would have reason to do something like that. Huh. Alright. Anyway, I've learned about the tragedy of Hope Speak Academy, but the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is a first incident, right? What kind of incident was it? Whoops. I skipped a piece of dialogue. And who's the other student that isn't Izuru? A certain student who secretly used the incident to their advantage. Who is that? This incident is really messed up, but all's doing but all it's doing is raising more questions. The mysteries keep piling up. Okay. I assume we're done here. Can't leave. Ah, look, this door opens now. The lab. What the hell is with this room? It's freaking cold in here. It's like I'm in a freezer or something. If I just stay still, I might end up freezing to death. I should hurry up and investigate so I can get out of here already. Another manga lying around here. The title is Manga for Morons, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. I knew it. The next one would obviously be about the incident. The biggest, most awful, tragic event in human history, huh? Let's see. Just what was the incident really all about? It might turn out to be something lame. I flipped through the pages of the manga and hoped that I was right. Whoa! Nice face. A story about creepily drawn characters who get involved in such horrifying incidents. An incident known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Is this drawn so grotesquely because the incident itself is that grotesque? Anyway, the beginning of this creepy manga starts with this sentence. The tragedy of Hope Speak Academy was simply the trigger. At first, the uprising by the Reserve Corps students that triggered the tragedy of Hope Speak Academy was incidentally hoped to be resolved quickly, but the situation continued to escalate to dangerous extremes. The movement started spreading all over the internet and fostered a thriving online community. The community was not limited to students, and people of various races and nations began joining in. But the movement was not confined to the internet, and it began spreading and eroding the real world. Ugh. When the movement started, it was indistinguishable from any other demonstration inspired by social unrest. By the way, there's a little Monokuma face in the corner. I just saw it. It spread across the world. Certain abnormalities came to light, but then it was too late, and the ends of the means had vanished, and the wanted destruction became their only goal. The strong butchered the weak. The weak killed the weakest among them, and soon the weak formed factions to brutally murder the strong. As the malevolence of death continued to spread, the shock of their actions began to disappear, as if the era was regressing to more uncivilized times when senseless deaths were the norm. The media was oversaturated with deaths to the point where their people would watch them while enjoying a meal. By the time the world realized what it had become, it was too late to stop what had happened. Ugh. Feelings of immense despair began spreading and eventually engulfed the world. Acts of terrorism and coups d'etats began occurring around the world. A war waged in the name of despair. A war fought not for principles, religion, or personal gain, but just war. Pure war. And because of that, there was no way to resolve it. How could a movement started by high school students progress to such a hopeless scenario? The only explanation is the existence of a certain organization devoted to a certain student who influenced Hope Speak Academy, a group called Ultimate Despair. Instead of using Hope Speak Academy talents for the sake of mankind's hope, they used it for the sake of mankind's despair. Key members of society used their influence to brainwash the masses in order to spread despair. Tech-savvy computer programs for software to spread despair. A powerful influential created new lies and morals to spread the despair. And with this, they created the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. As long as the ultimate despair exists, the ultimate and ultimate world will never end. The tragedy will never end. Fuck. Oh my god. My heart was racing in my chest, but my body felt ice cold. And it wasn't because I was freezing in the room. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. This is definitely all made up. I mean, if this is really true, then what's happening in the outside world? My family, my friends, the convenience store I frequent, a nearby bookstore, my favorite restaurant. What's happened to them?
No way!
Are you seriously yelling at a manga? How crazy are you? Who would enjoy reading something like this?
What?
Oh ma, you don't like manga? A high school student who doesn't like manga is like an office lady who doesn't like to eat candy. Enough. What is this messed up manga? I thought you'd obviously know about such a horrible event that destroyed the world, but for you not to remember that's such despair. That's the Future Foundation's fault, though. Thanks to them stealing your school memories. The incident that happened during your period, that period has been completely removed from your brains. This incident really happened and I actually forgot about it? There's no way that's possible.
What are you saying?
How many times do I have to tell you? All the clues here are real.
Hello.
Please understand I'm rooting for you. If you don't learn about the full extent of the outside world, you guys will suffer for it. I just want to help you guys so you can live well-adjusted lives in the outside world. Oh. I see, so that's how it is. That's what he meant when he said at the beginning. Well, as the headmaster, I'm conflicted, you know. On the one hand, I'm really happy you're finally going to graduate, but on the other hand, I'm worried about whether you guys will be okay in the outside world. That's why I'm thinking about telling you what the outside world is like before you make your decision. Whether you want to leave Jabberwock Island or stay here. He's trying to make us feel despair toward the outside world, so we'll want to stay on the island. But there's no way I'm going to do what he wants. Despair like that simply can't exist. The outside world should be filled with hope. Just like now. Perhaps? No, that's definitely it. Huh. Good Lord.